That was horrible.
All right, so I found this paper on the street. Actually, you mind if I? It's got this funny little number on it.
You should call it.
You think I should call? Do you think I should call it? What if it's a weirdo? Like, what if it's something weird?
What if it just goes to voicemail?
Oh, you're right. All right, I should. No, my therapist said I should take more risks. I should be bigger with things. You know. Okay, so I'm gonna call him. Okay. Ooh, I'm nervous. Hey. Doot 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 doot.
Hello, it's me, Sandy Cheek.
Oh, ooh, Sandy Cheek. This is exciting.
Why you calling in today, big boy?
Oh, well, I found this fun little number on the street, and I thought maybe we could have some fun, Sandy Cheek.
Oh, well, you just sit on back. I'm going to take this big box of donuts, and I'm going to warm them up in the microwave one by one.
Ooh, wow.
No more than 30 seconds, though. And maybe if you're lucky, I'll dump the glaze on your forehead.
How many donuts do we have? A baker's dozen?
Not at all. I have 3.
Oh, that's good, too.
Ooh. And
so a solid minute and a half of warming up donuts.
Mm-hmm. And if you pay the landline number, wait. if you pay me money, I'll warm them up and stick them on your fingers. So then you'll feel like you have a bunch of little rings.
All right, I put a $1 bill on the phone. Does that work?
Oh, I feel it, baby. Very nice. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and eat this $1 bill. This is
Why
delicious.
is it so wet?
I don't know. Well, I mean, because I don't know if you know this, but how the mouth processes food is by mixing it with saliva in your mouth to make it wet.
Yeah, tell me about that saliva, Sandy.
You chew it, then it becomes moisturized, and you can easily swallow it. Yummy.
Oh, wow. This is so good.
What the fuck? Your minute and a half is up. Thanks.
Oh, okay. Well,
talk to you next week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll call click. Well, that was weird. There's another. Do you want to call the other? Do you want to call the other number? Okay.
Beep 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 beep.
It's a long one. It's a long number.
I think this is SOS over and over. Beep 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 beep. Oh, sex our sex. That's
okay. Save our sex our sex. Hello.
Oh God.
You've reached Sally Touchums.
Hey.
How can I be of service for you today?
Oh my God, you're so hot.
Tell me where you are right now, big boy.
I'm in a podcast studio.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a horse here.
Talking right into the microphones. Ooh, such a dirty horse. Look at this horse. I've got a bucket and some soap.
You're gonna mop it.
I'm gonna wash this horse for you. Sally Touchums washing your dirty horse.
You have to cut all of this.
How does that
Is any of this usable?
This is the worst idea. Now, tell me what's in front of you right there, in front of your face, big boy.
It's a microphone because I'm a podcast host.
And that's right. I'm actually not Sally Touchums, and you're not Sandy Cheeks, but instead I am Sandy Cheek. That's right.
I only have one cheek that's Sandy.
The S is trademarked.
The other one's wet.
We are not sex hotline workers. We are actually 2 podcast hosts because I am Isaac.
I'm Derek.
And we are the boys of That Was Horrible, where we do our best. We do our best to not make the worst decisions for our cold opens sometimes.
Here's the thing, guys. Most of the time, we start off podcasting with like a, hey, do you have an idea for a cold open? And one of us is just like, yeah, I got it.
Often the idea is no, or it's like a whisper of an idea. Like we'll roll with this and it'll work.
It's 99% of the time improv, right?
Yes.
Where we're just like, maybe we have the general idea. Today we were like, okay, what if we had a sex phone line that you called into and we both called into the phone line, which
will make sense.
Yes, it will.
It's not for nothing.
But like, here's the thing. We thought that would be a great idea. That was more planning than we've ever done for a cold open, and that's why it failed. So you got to deal with our failure because we don't post. We don't delete fail. We don't fail delete.
We fail big.
Should we try this again? We don't delete our failures.
Delete our failures. we don't.
I should delete that.
No, it stays. It has to stay now. Anyway, we watched the movie Hobgoblins this week from 1988, which does include, and this is my co-host, Hob Garrick.
Hobgoblin.
He's just like a Pokemon. He can't actually help me that much. He just says his own name. What's that, Hobgoblin?
Hobgoblin.
You want to call the sex line again?
Hobgoblin.
Okay, maybe after the show.
Hobgoblin.
There's a third, even longer number for this.
Hobgoblin.
But there is a point in the movie that has a sex hotline that does come up, and that's the reason that we did it, and I'm sorry for everybody involved.
It was funny for one of you. So if you're the person who laughed, which is probably all of them, but they're going to feel really cool that they're the one person.
Yeah, exactly. It's you. We're talking to you.
If you're
exactly.
the one who laughed, probably James. Did
James
you laugh at
liked
that? What about your giant peach? Did they laugh too? So if you're the one who laughed at it, we thank you. We applaud you.
We thank you. Thank you for coming out to the bit. And if you really like the bit, call our sex hotline, you know. Oh,
Dude, our sex hotline phone is going off.
Oh no!
Should we answer it?
I didn't realize it did that. I didn't know it would glow red like that. Just this big glowing phone.
Will you answer it?
Yeah, I'll pick it up. Hello.
Hey, you guys got my money.
We don't. Your money? What is this? We do a podcast over here. What are you talking about?
You guys got my money.
I don't have any money.
I thought this was a sex hotline. My kink is someone having money they owe me.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Hello, it's me, Sally Touchums. I've been touching all over your money.
I'm going to eat it. You know, that saliva mixes with dollar bills.
The saliva makes the dollar bills. Exactly. See, somebody gets it.
Wow, thank you. Did you catch his name?
Nope. Didn't. Dirty Money
At
Man.
our next fan meet and greet, we should definitely meet up with him.
What if? Can you imagine?
We should start doing those.
That'd be really fun. But you imagine we meet a person, they come with like a handful of like fake cash, and they just start eating it in front of us, like the bit, the character that likes to eat money.
I don't know what you're talking.
No.
That was like 20 episodes ago because I will forget that bit.
And always we will forget these things we do. I'll literally listen to episodes we did only a week or two ago, and I'm like, when did I ever say those words? When did those things leave my mouth?
And I want to remember.
There's something that happens on this podcast where just things just fly out of your mouth. You do not have enough time to process them. Like sometimes you think it's a great idea to have a sex hotline for a movie about little goblins and gremlins and gnomes and you know little guys.
Well, sometimes
little tiny ghouls.
Sometimes people think it's a good idea to put that in their movies. You know?
That's fair. As bad as it was here, it's even worse in the setting of a movie.
And
much like a movie called Hobgoblins.
I have to tell you.
Tell me.
I'm
tell
a
me about
little sad that in my life I never called a sex hotline.
I just like,
you know,
I would feel guilty after like paying money for a service like that. I'm like, why did I could have saved that $5, man.
Well, yeah, there's always post cum regret. And so like everybody
post sex hotline regret. It's a real thing.
I'm assuming it's like calling movie phone, you know, like from Seinfeld. So, I mean, that was a real thing, but like
it was. I have no idea.
Yeah,
I wasn't around in the 90s.
Yeah, but you've seen that episode of Seinfeld.
That's fair.
Where they called movie phone, but it's
George,
Kramer.
I called a sex hotline. They won't stop talking
I lost
to me.
the contest, George. Jerry.
That's your George impression?
Jerry. Wow, it's me, Kramer. I talk big and loud.
So yeah, they're the two. So George is the straight man in the middle of it all.
Yeah.
It's like, George, it's me, Kramer. God.
Hey, God, bring him a door.
And then George is like, you guys are insane.
You guys I am a very intellectual man.
Let's tone it down. I'm wearing,
and then
I have glasses.
Then you got Elaine
intellectual.
Bennis. Ready for my impression?
Yeah, give me her. That's her?
Yeah, she doesn't talk. Just kidding. I love Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She's incredible.
She's a wonderful, wonderful woman. But not in this movie. None of these characters are in this movie.
Can we just talk about how it's been 2 weeks and I'm sad?
It's been too long.
It's been too long. Let's have a recap. We got a couple minutes. I was just gonna say, last couple weeks been?
But like, what would it be like if a hobgoblin joined the cast of Seinfeld? Just like for a quick second.
Oh, I got this.
Yeah. Okay. Ready?
You be Jerry.
All right. George, I found this funny little man. He doesn't stop screaming. I don't know what to do with him. And he's got more babes than I've got, which is weird. That's it. That's the whole thing.
It's the whole bit.
Recap. We've been watching movies. We've been watching some movies.
I've recently the theater production I was in has come to a close.
There's a nerd who does theater.
Well, yours just opened, so you're a little busy.
Yeah,
but
I did it too.
Sorry, if that turns you off, don't hit the light switch.
When have we ever been secret about the fact that we are nerdy little actor boys?
If that turns you off, don't hit the light switch.
If that turns you off, don't hit that light switch.
If that hits you, turn light switch on. Don't.
We've been watching some movie releases that we haven't gotten to catch recently. I think. Well, I mean, last week
Catcher in the Rye?
we did The Strangers. That was fun. We also watched In a Violent Nature, which we already talked a little bit about. Just last night, actually, we checked out I Saw the TV Glow. Fellas, that one is an effective movie. I'll tell you what. What's that?
It's I saw my life flash before my eyes.
That movie made me think. It's one of those movies that you sit after it ends and you're like,
yeah,
what do I
no
say?
Words,
what
no
do
words.
you do? What do you say?
I won't say too much, but that is currently my highest ranked movie of the year.
It's
overall.
It's pretty up there. It is.
It's one of those movies, and I mean that's a big thing to say, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to stand by that for the rest of the year. Honestly,
we'll catch you at the end of the year with our recap of all our horror movies.
Well, here's my thing about it, and I don't want to give anything away because I think every person should watch this movie.
It's also so hard to give things away. How do you put into words what happens in this movie?
David Lynch watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
That's fair. Okay, actually, that gives. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I didn't spoil anything, but that's like the movie.
No.
Here's the thing. That movie will impact everyone in some way.
Yep.
Some people more than others, some people way more than others. There are people who are literally changing their entire existence after watching this movie, and that is awesome in a good way. In a good way. And I think that power
this movie
alone,
definitely said trans rights.
Oh, absolutely. And
Yay,
it's
go
beautiful.
gay.
And I think that alone puts this movie above other movies because, like, I saw Garfield and I didn't want to exist anymore, and I saw this movie and it wanted to make me keep existing.
Exactly
so,
right. It changes you, helps you become your true self. It's great. Yeah. It's effective. It's great. Good stuff.
On top of that, I watched Love Lies Bleeding the last time, which was fun. It was a crazy movie. Oh, I also watched Stop Motion.
Oh
yeah, which is another one that came out this year. You saw that one too.
Yeah, that one's also effective in certain ways. It definitely leaves you feeling real gross,
real
inside.
icky, real gross,
real stop motion animation akin to like that of Mad God, like Phil Tippett kind of stuff, which is really fun.
Yeah, it was something, man. I really enjoyed that movie. It was just crazy. But then Abigail, we also finally saw Abigail.
Guys, I was going into Abigail with like not necessarily high expectations, but I was expecting to like it. And then it kept being good. It met all of my expectations and then exceeded them and then gave me new things I didn't even know I wanted.
Yeah, man.
It's one of those things where, like, you know how you watch a movie, you're like, oh, wouldn't it be awesome if this happened? It does that, and then those things actually happen. You're like, oh, wouldn't it be awesome if this? Oh my God, it's actually happening right now.
It was bonkers. That I am mad that movie is not getting more recognition. Because it's really not. If you look at it, like, more people aren't watching it, and it needs to be put on Netflix or something so more people see that movie.
It is so
because I need more of that.
Like
universe.
It is a fun horror movie, which I love. I love when horror is fun and weird and out there.
It's the kind of horror movie that makes you go, oh, with your friends.
We were cheering and shouting and jeering, and
I actually watched that one twice. We showed it to someone. Like, that's how much I loved that movie, and I fully intend on showing that to more people because that movie kicks so much ass.
That's the caliber of movie we're talking about, right? Like movie I would watch almost immediately a second time, right? Like, gotta get people in to see this, show them all of that stuff.
So
we've been watching
recap.
Movies. So yeah, we as we're not just watching all of the quote unquote bad horror movies, we watch some of the good ones too.
Good movies.
A lot of that stuff.
We also watched Heavy Metal Mater and Rescue Squad Mater.
And Monster Truck Mater
and Mater the Greater, El Matador, Unidentified Flying Mater, Tokyo Mater, Mater and the Ghostlight.
Yeah, so you guys ever just been on Disney Plus at one point and you're like, oh, look at this funny little tow Mater from Cars short. Wouldn't that be fun?
And then you watch all of them in one sitting.
Hey, Derek, if say it with me, if I'm lying, I'm crying. This is not funny for anyone who hasn't watched the Tow Mater shorts on Disney Plus.
There is something so existentially beautiful about Tow Mater, and
it just has a character, as a spirit, such a good-hearted person. Tow Mater is.
Larry the Cable Truck is just not someone to be trifled with. Unless it's a brownie trifle.
I feel like he sincerely has like powers or something like that. But yeah, sometimes you just get a bug to watch a bunch of Cars shorts, and it's a pretty good time.
little car bug.
Get a little car bug.
Bug car. Little bug car.
Derek, what are we drinking this week?
So this
Bilbo
it's
bartender.
been a while. You didn't ask me what I've been watching.
What have you been watching, Bilbo?
Well, recently I watched all of the Barbie movies, every single animated Barbie. And let me tell you,
Bilbo Barbie Tender.
that's my sequel podcast. Where there's already Barbie movie podcasts, but mine, I watch them in reverse.
Okay, so is that in like reverse order or straight up like watch the movie backwards?
Yes.
That's what I expected. I don't know why I expected any other answer from you. What are we? Hey, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Oh, yes, I'm good.
What are we
So,
drinking?
what you're drinking today is the slime of 1,000 goblins.
That's a lot of goblins.
No, but there's only 3 in it, so don't get too excited.
Oh, so
1,000 is
just
a
a fun
selling
title.
point.
I see,
Yes,
I see.
when I tried to pitch this to the network, they were like, 3 goblins, we don't want that. Here's my impression of the network.
Yeah.
Yes, it's me, it's the network. I don't want 3 goblins. Give me 1,000 goblins. And I said, okay.
Is the network run by a wizard? What is this?
Yeah, his name is WizCorp Wizman, and he does a
Really
great
racist
job.
against goblins.
I hate goblins, all of them, but I need 1,000 in my movie. And
What
I
else
said,
is
it's
in
not a movie, it's a drink.
And then was he in or was he out?
Well, I stabbed his veins and drained him dry,
So
and
we have
then
a-
I put him in the drink.
So we have wizard blood and 1,000 goblins in here.
Yes.
Well, 3, but 1,000.
But
That's pretty good.
might-
Anything else, or is it a
997 goblins makes the world go round.
997 goblins on the wall? 997.
Anyway,
goblins.
then I put some Baja Blast.
Oh, okay, that's fun. That works.
Yes.
That's good.
And then I put some blue curacao, and then I put some mango puree, and then some peach.
So it's you hit it with this extreme high of goblins
just-
and wizard
You
blood.
just left. Wait, you didn't say your catchphrase.
Sorry, there's a drink, soupy twist.
What the fuck?
He's-
He just like told a normal recipe and then left.
That's a normal thing. I think he's distracted by all the Barbie movies. He had to go back and get to them again.
Yep, there he is in the corner. Oh god, High Horse Palomino's sitting with him.
At least he's clean. He's been washed, and I didn't know he was that color underneath his dirty, grimy coat.
He's Palomino. He's green.
Guys, we watched Hobgoblins from 1988, and it's a doozy. I chose this one just because I really
Weeks ago.
wanted to see these freaky looking little like basically gremlin ripoffs in a movie. I thought it was going to be a pretty fun time. Derek, do you have any information about this movie?
You know I do.
Oh,
let
yeah.
me tell you though, this movie we picked this like 2 months ago, I swear, and then we just kept watching the new releases because so many new releases keep happening.
Yes. That's a sad thing. A lot of movies are coming out. A lot of horror movies are being released in 2024 that are not getting well reviewed.
It's true. So this was written and directed by Mr. Rick Sloan.
Written and directed by. Always
Rick
a recipe
Sloan.
for success. Right?
No.
Oh, okay, you're right. Yeah, no, that's actually wrong.
It kind of seems like he based his entire life off of Hobgoblins existing.
Really?
Yeah, so he wrote and directed Hobgoblins. Then he did something called Vice Academy.
Okay.
He's done a few other things, but for the most part, he's kind of ridden the tail of Hobgoblins.
Now, is that like out of extreme pride because he loves this project that he worked on?
No, he knows it's bad, and it's like he milked it a little bit. He made a documentary called "The Making of a Disaster Piece," and then he
Incredible.
actually did make a Hobgoblins 2
I
as well.
used that term at some point in my notes. I said the word disaster piece.
Very good, very good. Yeah, he did a sequel that came out 25 years after the original.
Lord
but it looks
almighty.
and he labeled it as camp and crappy as the original. So like the first one,
Wow.
didn't really fully intend on to be bad.
Yeah.
The sequel, they were like, we're gonna play into
It
it.
just really seems like one of those things where like, well, it's supposed to be bad, obviously. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. It's so funny, right? Because it's bad. Like my movie, please.
So I clicked on Vice Academy.
Yeah, tell me about this.
2 rookie cops pose as strippers to get the drop on a villainess plotting to spike LA's water with aphrodisiacs.
Okay.
So he made
That's not even like that
6
doesn't
of these.
that doesn't end the world. It just makes everybody in LA
fucking horny. So he basically went on to make a lot of softcore porn. Oh yeah, he
Yikes.
did actually.
Babe Beach.
So
Is that
he
what
made-
that's called? I'm
yeah.
looking at. Oh
So
my
he made
God.
Hobgoblins, and then he made
Hobgoblins.
More like
In the porn spin-off is
Slobgob-
Knob Goblins.
not goblins.
Slobbing on the knob.
Slobbing
Knob
the gob.
Knob Goblin.
Knob goblin. Gobble. Gobble gobble.
Gobble gobble.
That's the turkey sequel.
Ew, no.
No, we're done.
No,
this
we-
bit's over. Basically, good for him, I guess.
Yeah. He did things.
He did things.
I've never made Hobgoblin the softcore porn version of
and
my
he
own
probably makes
movie.
more money than me based on just that. So
Just
good,
based on the fact that he's made a couple movies,
Yeah, he's
I
made-
can't afford to make one.
I can't afford to live. So like, good for him. Yeah.
We're recording in a cardboard box right now.
See, hear that? Hear that sound I'm making?
We can't.
No,
there's no
'cause
walls
there's
to
no
knock on
walls.
anymore. It's just air.
That was stupid. I love that the tags. So IMDb gives movie tags. Movies. That's how little information I have about this movie.
Yeah.
When IMDb gives its tags, they're really funny. This one is Gremlin, Sex Hotline, Puppet, Pole Dancing, and Disco.
There are 52 more
I know,
after that.
But those are the ones that are important.
Oh no! I like how they didn't start with the important ones.
Well, those are the most. Falling off a cliff.
Older man,
Fantasy
teenage
becomes
girl
reality,
kiss. What the fuck?
Erotic, killed by woman.
Killed by woman.
Van, security club,
Fantasizing.
stripper, blown through the air.
Sex in a van.
Who is Googling movie where someone is blown through the air?
Nobody has voted for these being helpful. Boyfriend girlfriend relationship.
But
These are important plot keywords.
But Gremlin, Sex Hotline, Puppet, Pole Dancing, Disco,
No,
Car
hold
falling
on.
off cliff.
Gremlin
and
sex hotline puppet. That's pretty good. We could do something with that. We should fill in a Mad Libs with all of these words.
Oh my God, you're so right.
That'd be so good.
So anyway, this movie had a budget of $15,000.
Thousand. Say it with me. 1,000.
15,000.
Where the hell did all of that money go? That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, and in today's money, it would be about $40,000. So
Whoa.
almost nothing to make a movie.
I don't
That's easily
understand.
one of our smallest budgets.
How is that even possible? Because I know through the trivia, this movie was filmed without permits. And I feel like permits and acquiring those take a lot of money. And that's what goes into a lot of budget stuff. So where the hell are they spending all of this money?
Yeah, I don't know.
I have
Well,
no
wait, you
idea.
think that 15,000 is too much?
I think it's a lot compared to what the
Well, if you think he has
how
to-
little was in this movie.
I think if you think he has to make the puppets, he has to pay every actor.
And he has to pay the puppets.
Right? If he pays everyone a couple grand to be in the movie at
my God.
least.
I suppose that's fair.
So I think all of the money, hopefully, and this is just speculation, I think all the money hopefully went to the actors.
I hope and pray.
And probably the locations they used.
I guess
they
so.
did blow up a car and an apartment building.
That one probably took a lot. There were some explosions that might be
I think
why
that
it's
pyrotechnics are probably where all of their money.
pyrotechnics are where they get you. Really, that's where things get pricey.
This was direct to video in 1988. There was no theatrical release.
That
which
tracks.
makes sense. There is a Mystery Science Theater version of this, which is way more popular.
Oh yeah, that's probably how it is most known, not solo on its own.
Yeah, no way. And then there's a sequel. That's it. That's basically it. Let's talk about the ratings for this movie though, because
They're not great.
so I'm gonna give everyone a warning. When I was writing these notes, I was super weird.
I
don't know
was
why.
in a weird
I
mood
was
when
in a weird
writing
mood.
these ones.
So anyway, I literally for Rotten Tomatoes I wrote audience score 11. For critics, they didn't want.
Yeah,
They didn't want.
it's they didn't want, but it's they
didn't want.
They didn't want.
They didn't want.
They didn't want. They didn't want.
No critics rated this movie.
No, zero
ever.
Zero critics ratings.
Which is the first time we've ever done that, but I think it's completely fine.
Oh, absolutely.
Letterboxd is sitting at a 1.9. IMDb is at a 2.2.
All bottom of the barrel stuff.
And then for grossed, I put a bushel and a peck.
Grossed a bushel and a peck. Goodness. Yeah, so this one is just really rated by the audience, sitting at an 11%. That's everybody all over the place is actually pretty low here.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's that's it. Let's talk about maybe our expectations.
Let's get it.
There's nothing really else to talk about
No.
the production of this movie.
It's just a movie that happened.
cheap ass movie.
The guy who made it is really riding the coattails of
And
it being
super
a
horny.
disaster piece in his words. But yeah, so expectations wise, I was expecting a mess, but a good time. I was really excited about this, but definitely expecting really just a ripoff of the Gremlins, which I believe came out in 1984, I think. So a couple years prior to this. So it makes sense why it would be derivative of that, because that one actually did pretty well, right?
Yeah. I expected to just laugh a lot.
Yep. Absolutely. My first formal expectation just said campy, rip-off, fun. Again, just derivative of Gremlins and stuff. I just thought it was going to be a good fun time, fun to poke fun at. I mean, if Mystery Science Theater could do it, I'm like, this has got to be a really funny, silly one, right?
Absolutely. Greatest Gremlins clone ever, TM.
Oh, I wonder. We should have a Gremlins month and just gather all of these Gremlins clones.
That would be fun.
Because we've already
then
watched a
rate 'em
couple,
all.
right? Remember,
Rank 'em.
Ghoulies is another. We can rank all of the bad Gremlins ripoffs. That's pretty good.
That's great.
I said the actors that go nowhere after this movie. It was one of those where like we watched the trailer. I didn't recognize any of these people personally. I'm like, these guys, this might be the start and end of their careers, is this movie here.
I thought for a second I went to college with the main guy, but I was like, nah, there's no way.
Yeah, I saw him in the supermarket one day, but no, it wasn't
like,
him. Yeah, different haircut.
I think he was working at McDonald's when I went there one time. My second expectation, 80s sexualization to the max.
To the max. And that's with 3 X's, by the way.
Actually, I only put 1.
Just 1?
Yeah, I've been really working on my spelling.
Derek sitting over here in school.
What's your next expectation?
Oh my God, yeah. My next expectation was a kick-ass soundtrack of 80s greatness. There is something about these 80s movies, as great or as terrible as they are, the banger soundtracks.
Always.
Got somebody up on there and the synthesizer, really just going to town on this stuff. The music in the 80s almost always was a hit, so I was excited about that.
Dialogue that would make Shakespeare give up the quill.
I give up the quill to live.
Oh, that's funny because his name is Will.
Exactly. See,
and he uses a quill.
And it's Will.
And then Will also means the will to do something.
It's got many layers.
That's like a lasagna joke.
That's like a lasagna of a joke. Thank you.
Your lasagna.
Yes, high horse. There's not actually real lasagna. I know we pay you exclusively in lasagna, but
when I gave Garfield a blowjob, he said, "I'm gonna give you 6 lasagnas."
Don't touch lasagna. Don't stop eating lasagna off of him. What do you do? No, get out of here. Get out of here. No, go get. Jeez, I don't care how clean you are.
Anyway, what's your third expectation? Fourth expectation?
No, I think did you? Yeah, no, did you? Is that your next one? What? I can't remember.
What happened?
I can't even remember. I said silly puppets, just so unserious, because anything we saw in the trailer made it look like they were puppets that just lived on a person's hand, and they were just hopping them up and down, like across the back and forth across the screen, so it didn't look very believable. Though the handcraft and the work that went into the puppets actually looked pretty decent. I like the way the puppets looked.
The puppets were fun.
Yeah, they look good.
Way to give away your expectation already.
Oh, no.
You jerk.
I'm so sorry, everybody.
My favorite thing ever, the kill screen, off screen, kill roll around run.
Yes. Yes. Now explain to me a little bit more about how that kind of thing works.
Well, I've called this the
kill screen, off screen roll around.
Yeah, of course. No, I call it the Rawhead Rex effects, where
yes,
they get attacked by like a big thing and all of the effort is done by the person being attacked.
Yes.
And they kind of just like roll around, or like they're shown off screen dead, that kind of thing.
Exactly. It's like when we watched Night of the Lepus, when they get attacked by bunnies and they're
bunnies.
just like rolling around with holding a bunny onto them because they couldn't do anything better than that.
The off screen kill screen roll around.
Off screen kill screen roll around. Of course, we all know.
Everybody knows.
Everybody's favorite trope.
If you actually look in the Bible, it's in there under John Wick chapter 7 verse 8.
Thou shalt not off-screen, kill-screen, roll around.
Yeah.
My final expectation just said not enough puppets, because that's the thing. That's what drew me into the movie, and based off what we saw in the trailer, I did not think they were going to give us enough of them, and that would be a travesty because they look hilarious.
And my final one is more like trolls. Am I right?
No, I don't get that.
Because so Troll 2
yeah.
was like a really bad movie.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Is this nothing?
They're gonna hobgoblins her, and then they're gonna
hobgoblins me. Oh my God! That's for all my troll fans out there. I bet you loved that
all you
one.
Troll 2 fans. And actually,
all of you who have asked us to watch the Trolls.
There's actually a lot of people who have listened to this podcast and requested that one. One day, man, it feels like such a big thing that we cannot get to because you have to do it right.
This is my drum roll.
This is your drum roll for what? For Troll 2?
Yeah.
For the start of the movie?
I just love Troll 2. It's a great movie.
The
movie got me into bad horror.
Really, though. It's a funny movie. Go watch Troll 2, and someday we will cover it for the podcast, I think. But for now, we're covering Hobgoblins from 1988. Are we ready? Is it time?
Yeah, apparently I deleted all of my notes.
Oh my God. Oh my God. He's going to delete her, and then he's going to delete me.
No, when I hit Control Z, it just erases the things I've written. Well, it's okay. I have a backup.
That's fine. We were prepared. So we start out old man security guard named McCready and his younger coworker Dennis, who is not taking his job seriously enough. They're on the job right now. They guard an old film studio, and Dennis, the younger of the two, wants to explore deeper into this place. But McCready says, "No."
I did not realize this was a film studio until very late in the movie.
They throw like one line about it. That's all they have. Like blah 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 studio. Okay, that's all the audience needs to understand this, because otherwise nothing gives away that it's a film studio. It's just random hallways that could be any building
Might
at
have been
all.
an insane asylum.
Could have been Build-A-Bear. I don't know.
What was it?
It wasn't. In what ways is it not a Build-A-Bear? Hallways.
Do you think
little creatures?
Okay,
that's a Build-A-Bear.
So do you think when God, if there's a God,
okay,
when she was creating the world,
okay,
do you think that they were like, this joke is stupid.
I know. Finish your food. What happened now? What is like? I'm
gonna make gay people.
Okay,
right? It's like it's cool. Like you can love whoever you want.
It's cool. It's great. We love that.
But then God was like, "What if we made a Build-A-Bear?" And so they're like, "What if we make a bear man?" But then God too, who was helping him build the universe, was like, "Wait, you want to build a stuffed animal?"
Gods now.
No, I mean, no, gay bad. This isn't anything. This joke is stupid.
I really just wanted to I wanted to see where you were going with that. God building a bear.
It was just literally a joke on Build-A-Bear, but like someone you make a big man. That's all the joke was.
God, heaven, the original Build-A-Bear.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying my joke.
That's what we're saying here.
I think I created two gods. There's two gods.
There are two gods now. There's God 1 and God 2. It's like Cat in the Hat. Thing 1 and Thing 2.
I'm really upset. That bit could have been funny, but I fucked up.
No, it was perfect.
That was stupid.
I loved it.
I offended somebody.
So, happy Pride Month, by the way. It is June. Go to Build-A-Bear to support your local. Support your local bear at Build-A-Bear.
Oh my God! What if for Build-A-Bear they did like a Pride Month special where they sell like an otter and a bear and like a little stick
and their hands magnetized together so they can hold hands.
So they can hold hands.
That's exactly what every corporation does during Pride Month. They're like, "Hi, gay, we love you."
Yeah, we're gonna be gay for 1 month.
Sashay into great deals this month here at Build-A-Bear. We've got otters and bears. Good for gay stuff.
For gay stuff,
or just hanging out.
They're just hanging out. But it's like a bear with like a thong, and and like it's like a rainbow thong.
They can just wear normal clothes.
No,
Derek.
but it's like a. Oh my God! I'm not. No,
but you're right, because that's what corporations would do. They would dive too deep into it.
I was trying to make a statement.
That's fair. That's fair. You're right. A statement on capitalism and corporations and Big Monday.
I fucked up. I fucked up so bad. There it is. There's my cancel, guys.
Good Lord. There's my yearly cancel.
I'm literally like the most like supportive person of all time.
He really is.
And I'm just like fucking up all over the place. This is the end. It's been nice. Have fun with the podcast.
Good.
Here's my replacement. Hello, I'm here.
Lord.
I'm High Horse Palomino.
Palomino, please.
What's the next scene of the movie?
How has High Horse not been canceled at this point? Talking about butt plugs, blowing Garfield,
Garfield's
eating dirty
penis.
lasagna. No, you're canceled too. Who else do you have? What's another Science Jim, can you please?
Hey everybody, it's me. I was just watching a movie called I Saw the TV Glow.
Okay.
And I'm not okay.
Okay.
I'm not okay. Help me.
Maybe
help.
Go hang out with Matt Jane, I think. Maybe you'll feel better.
She's gone.
What
Every
happened
time I close my eyes, she reappears, but when my eyes are open, she's not there.
I just think you have bad object permanence. Wait, every time you close your eyes, she appears?
Yeah.
So she only exists on the inside of your eyelids, is what you're telling me.
Watch me flip back my eyelids. See these Polaroids?
Oh, Lord.
I put them there.
No!
They put a little light so that when I close my eyelids, I see her.
I have seen the horrors.
All right, let's talk about the movie.
Let's talk about the movie. We have two security guards. Old man, McCready. Younger man, Dennis. They are in here. Dennis is trying to dig deeper. Old man says no, right? So what does he do? What does Dennis do? Digs deeper and finds this big-ass like bank vault door surrounded by jail bars. Yeah. I say it's a bank vault because it actually is. Both of which are not locked at all.
No, they're actually just like completely open.
Completely, yeah. He just like opens the first set of bars, like okay, then opens this big-ass vault, which by the way, I found out through the trivia, that It was a literal bank vault door that was so heavy. It took a team of like 5 crew members on the inside to push the door open because it was so heavy. One person could not open it on their own. I was
really impressed with that little boy's arms.
Yeah, no, he could not for sure. Inside the vault glows green.
Okay, but again, where did they get that?
No, I have no idea. I have no idea where they find these things.
Maybe it was an actual bank vault. They probably just walked in.
Well,
and were like,
I mean, listen, to Build-A-Bear, they got to put the money somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. They got to put the bears somewhere.
Inside of this vault, it's glowing green. There's music, eerie music accompanying it all. And then the vault door on the inside of it was hiding this like secret club. Suddenly, Dennis is on stage, and there's just a microphone. There's lights. Nobody in this club, and he just starts doing some weird dancing, half singing performance for no crowd. It's complete with lights and with music accompanying him. He's just awkwardly running and prancing around the stage, trying not to look like an idiot.
This man was so awkward.
It's like when you when you're alone in the bathroom, you're looking at yourself in the mirror, maybe you're playing some music. It's that kind of dancing where you're like, I'm the only person here. I'm just gonna be a fool and just like, haha, it's me. I'm a cool guy.
You do that
all the time, every day.
Oh,
that's my wake up routine. I gotta dance to myself in the mirror every day.
I used to sometimes see how weird I could arch my back.
What? Working on that arch in the bathroom all by yourself?
Well, because I heard that Utah was the natural arches. So I was like, what? I'm going to arch my back.
Derek, that's not.
And then I would put my foot up on the counter and I'm going to arch it.
Jesus.
This is a joke. This isn't real.
Just getting into position. No,
this is what we call a comedy bit.
When we say things out loud on the podcast, they're real.
Nope.
Just like heaven is Build-A-Bear. Heaven is God's Build-A-Bear. So yeah, he starts dancing to himself and he's just having a good time. And then McCready is like, oh no, the guy's gone. I bet he's in the vault. And so he runs, he books it all the way. He runs so funny. Watching this old man trying to book it.
That man needed to take the biggest dump of his life.
He either looked like he needed to take a dump or that he was late for bingo or something. Because he was just like, oh boy, here we go.
Oh, she's going to pull my balls.
Gotta hold it. What? She's going to what? No, he likes that. He's okay with that.
No, shut up. Not sexual. He was gonna because when you use the bingo wheel, it's a bunch of balls.
I like the sexual
pull my
one.
balls.
So McCready runs into the open vault to find the dead, bleeding body of Dennis. So somewhere in that mix, while he's dancing on stage, he falls. He falls off the front of it like a dumbass.
He just dives off.
Yeah, so it's like he tries to crowd surf for nobody. All of them decided they didn't want to touch him. So then what does McCready do? He just shuts the door. He just let's just lock this shit up. And then we get the opening title, Hobgoblins. Now the movie is starting. Gobhoblins. Knobgoblin.
Oh, you're getting a knob on my goblin, huh?
McCready now goes to his boss and pretends Dennis just quit instead of dying. He's like, yeah, I don't know. He just didn't show up. That's really weird of him. This is not the first incident of this. Apparently several second security guards have just quit, quote unquote. And McCready doesn't want a second guard, but the boss insists. He's like, listen, he keeps making remarks about how old he is. And his boss is way older than he is. So I don't understand why he's in no position to judge him by his age.
I don't know, man.
He's like, you're too old for this. We need to get a second guy. He's like, okay. So now we have another young man taking the second guard shift. This guy is Kevin, and he's our main character for the rest of this. So Dennis is dead. Kevin is in. Kevin is the new Dennis.
Kevin is the new Dennis.
Kevin, really. So McCready goes through the same speech about how there's a part of the lot you're not supposed to go to it. It kind of feels like he's almost baiting these dudes to go to it.
Absolutely. It seemed like he was feeding whatever's in there.
Really, though. It seemed like they were kind of in cahoots for a minute there. But so he has a normal shift. It's fine. He's like, all right, fine. I won't go into the weird, the forbidden area of the studio. So then he goes back home, and now we meet Kevin's friend group that will definitely serve as our Hobgoblin's bait. And they're certainly obnoxious. I could say that much.
Yeah, they're actually the worst, and none of them like each other.
No! This is a friend group full of people that hate each other. They're all such asses to each other, even the ones that are dating each other.
They're horrible. I feel like Rick Sloan, when he was writing this movie, was like, man, every friendship I've ever had was just cocks to each other. I think I just have to write them all as real big assholes.
So that's
how I have to do it.
He's sitting there watching movies about friends who really enjoy each other. He's like, that's not realistic at all. All my friends hate each other.
It isn't real.
I'm Rick Sloan.
And then he's laying in bed and he's like, oh shit, what's the Friends theme song?
No one told you that.
So he's laying in bed. No one told you life was gonna be this way. But it's really slow, just a...
And his neighbors across the street are worried about him because he's got the clapper light in his bedroom, and so it just keeps flickering on and off. Is that man okay? No, he's not. He's crying all the time and clapping to his clapper.
Daddy, why is the light flickering? Oh, honey, around 10:45 every evening, the light goes on and off.
This is going to be gross. So anybody who doesn't want to hear this, close your eyes and your ears. Do you think there's ever been an instance? I wasn't thinking about jacking off. I was thinking about sex. Do you think there's ever been an instance where that has triggered the clapper light on and off?
Right?
It has to, right? That must have happened.
Do I Google that?
Maybe not. Just make sure safe search is on.
Well, I mean,
we have to be cautious.
That's when the term "clapping them cheeks" came into existence.
Clapper
because
them cheeks.
Someone was having sexual intercourse, coitus.
I hardly know her.
For those of the know,
for those of the know,
for those of the know, like I think someone was having sex and they had like a device in their room that turned their light on and on with just noise, and they were having sex. There was like clap, like oh my god, the clapping. Oh my god,
it's the
clapping them cheeks. That's what we should call it.
Clapping.
I'm gonna clap in this. I'm gonna make this clapping.
So
and then they got a disease, a sexually transmitted disease. Like, let's call this the clap.
Why are there so... I'm done. We can't talk about clapping anymore. No more sex. Rick Sloan is out of here.
That makes me clappy.
He wrote a bunch... Oh, my God. He wrote a bunch of very specific archetypes for each of these friends who all hate each other. So there's Kevin's girlfriend, Amy, his dorky friend, Kyle, the horny one, Daphne, and her army boyfriend, Nick, who's just came back from like 2 months of being at base camp, boot camp or whatever.
The thing that I find funny about this group of friends is we immediately know all of the... Scroll up.
Yep.
We immediately know all of their tropes.
Yes.
Right?
Right out the gate.
The girlfriend... Amy, she's sitting on the couch reading like memoirs of a call girl or something.
It made a big point to show us what she was. She was basically holding it in front of the camera before showing her face.
She was very much that like Catholic girl type that had been like, you know, that song by Alanis Morissette about how like Catholic girls, they grow up too late. No, not that one.
Okay.
Forgiven, I think is what it's called. And my point is,
yes,
it was very much that like Catholic girl trope. She never was religious, but it was that same trope where she's like, I'm having my sexual awakening like really late in life, and I want the world to know about it.
It becomes a plot point.
But then you got like the dorky friend who like is just so awkward
the whole
even
time.
Like the way he's dressed, it just like left nothing to the imagination.
No, exactly.
Any of these characters,
every character is spelled out for you.
Well, and then Daphne, just like how she's dressed and what she's saying, every other line is like, we're gonna fuck.
Yeah.
He's gonna get here with his big army cock, and we're gonna I'm swearing a lot today, and we're gonna have amazing coitus.
Big army.
She didn't say coitus, but I wish she did.
And then you got Nick, who's just this big old, like, hoorah, America, I'm an army guy, who apparently was not originally in the script. They added him because the producers wanted more action in the movie.
Yeah.
Which is obnoxious. I hated his character. He was just so annoying.
When he gets back, this is the literal dialogue.
Yeah,
okay?
lay it on me.
When his car pulls up, oh man, I'd recognize that horn everywhere. That's
got like a
ooga. Back from 2 months of army training, and you know what a man wants when he's went away for 2 months.
No, what does he want?
Woo.
It's been 2 months.
Whoa, everybody have sex tonight. Wish that was our theme song.
What? I don't even remember these words happening. What the hell?
I don't know.
The dialogue in this movie is despicable, to say the least. It's really rough. So we meet the whole friend group, and then Kyle, the nerdy dorky friend, well, he's just like, oh, I gotta call my girlfriend really quick. Goes one room over without even a door to block the two of them, and calls a sex hotline for far too long.
My favorite thing about this is so I'm gonna spoil it now. There are multiple times throughout the movie where he calls this sex hotline.
Calling Fantasia.
One room over. He one room over pulls out a big ass comically sized newspaper
out of his pocket?
From his pocket. And then he's like, where's the number? Oh, there it is.
Like blatantly in the middle of the...
But he's obviously called this woman like 8 times a day for the last 10 years.
It's like folded up and crumpled. Like he's been using this many times, right? You'd imagine you just have the number memorized by now.
You ready? Are you ready for what she says?
I wish I wasn't. I wish I wasn't. But he calls.
Viewer, just listen to discretion. It's fine.
Yeah.
Do you want to call?
Yeah, sure.
Put me in the mind. Hi, Thanks for calling. I'm going to see a movie today. It's only rated PG. I want you to show up and make it X.
Oh my
Sneak
God.
in the rear door, and when the lights go down, drop your pants. Show me a full moon.
It's even worse than I remember it.
So, do you want to explain what's happening while she's reading this?
He is like sitting moaning and like
His,
crumpling
like,
as
having
he's on the phone.
orgasms. Like, but it's like so comical, like
Yes.
early Looney Tunes.
And
Like,
it's not even-
ooga, ooh.
It's not even like, fortunately, he's not being gross and like touching himself while it's happening, but still he's like, whoa.
Like, it's like. Anyway, I'll keep going. Drop your pants and show me a full moon.
Oh
Wave that lunar eclipse and block the projection
and there's like
beam.
some music behind it too. She's like, boom.
Boom, boom, boom. Next, pull me down and roll me on those sticky floors. Lick that artificial butter off my body. Then take my clothes and leave me naked so that when the light comes up, I'll be the second feature.
This is just, and it keeps going. There's more of this, but it's God, Fantasia. And this is one of many moments in the movie where like this thing does not need to happen as long as it does, but it does.
Do you think? Okay, I've never listened to a sex phone line. Like, I really haven't. And so,
Do they still exist? Is that still a thing?
oh,
Probably.
I'm
It's
sure
probably
it
still a
has
thing,
to. It has to
absolutely.
be someone's kink. You got to help the people out in the old folks' homes. So, like,
They've got it like up on the wall and on a list of like important numbers. Like here's your grandma, here's life alert, and then here's the sex hotline for Fantasia.
Do you think if someone's kink is like edging or like anticipation, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
They call and they're like, hey, what, like dial 1 for edging, dial 2 for like domination, like dial 3 for. If you'd like to hear these options again,
But I like to
press
imagine
5.
if they select edging, it's like, hey there, big boy, I'm gonna.
Yeah, that.
Silence.
And then they're like, no, what I was thinking for edging, it was like, yeah, can you hold? And then they like, I appreciate you waiting. I'll be right back, baby. It's like,
and
it's
then
like 2
it's
hours
dripping all
of
down
hold.
my hold, please.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like 2 hours of hold music.
But it's worth every penny.
Oh my God. I just love whoever wrote this script was so unaware of what's
Rick
hot.
Sloan. Rick Sloan did it. He's to blame.
You're right. Well, and then he went on to make a bunch of softcore porn. So
It
you would have
all works. It makes sense.
You would have thought that this would make more sexual sense.
Right?
Wave that lunar eclipse and block the projection beam. Next, pull me down, roll me on those sticky floors, and lick the artificial butter off my body.
What is
What?
that? That's nothing.
You know, this is actually kind of a rap.
It's
Or
kinda-
like a song.
Yeah.
Sneak in the rear door when the lights go down. Drop your pants, show me a full moon. Wave that lunar eclipse in front of me. Block projection beams, sticky floors.
sticky floors.
Lick the butter off of my body. Yeah, lick the butter off of my body.
I said I lick the butter off of my
And
body.
when hold please.
So you're saying we should start a musical sex line? Is what you're
I think
telling me.
musicals. If you would like all
You've
of
called
your
musical
sex
sex hotline. Are you looking for more of a Wicked flavor? Or
Yeah.
are you looking for Hamilton?
if you would like your messages
Time
sung to you.
try defying edging. My name is Alexander Edgington.
What's his I am not throwing away my shot.
Oh.
I am not.
I am not throwing away back shots.
Ah, gross.
That's nasty.
That's pretty bad.
This has been a gross episode.
We are on one.
Rick Sloan is doing something too.
Can we name this episode Rated X?
Rated X? Yeah, it
But
was
like-
PG. Now it's rated
But X spelled out.
Yes. How do you spell X?
I don't know.
It's ECKS X.
Or X. Like ECH.
Oh, X. This is terrible. Back to the movie. guys.
And we're back to the movie.
And we're back in the races here. Kevin's girlfriend starts bullying him, basically saying how you know you could probably learn a lot from Nick because he was in the army. So then they go fight in the front yard. He's like, "Yeah, I'll teach you a thing or two about hand-to-hand combat."
Wait,
They
what?
don't fight hand-to-hand.
No. Okay, before this though, you get one line of dialogue that I have to read. So they're walking past to like go outside and watch these two boys fight, basically. And she's like, "Ugh, I have to keep calling the phone company every month because of all these sex line calls being billed to my phone number."
That's right. Kyle is continuously going over to his friend's house and calling the sex hotline. Like, Jesus Christ. It's probably why he keeps going over there. These friends don't like each other.
No.
He's just using him so he doesn't get billed for all the sex hotlines.
Oh, my God.
So it's Kevin and Nick go out into the front yard. One of them grabs a rake, the other one grabs a garden hoe, and they start to have this like big fight sequence that is so lame.
I think it takes like 8 minutes.
Really, it is the longest sequence because what they'll do is they'll fight. Nick will knock Kevin to the ground. He'll get back up. They'll start fighting again. And all they are doing is like crossing their weapons against each other.
One of them has a hoe, the other one has a rake.
And every time they make a connection, it makes this bunk, 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 bunk. And all they're doing is like tapping sticks. They're not doing, but then in between moments, Nick is like twirling around his little like staff of a hoe.
So stupid.
He looks like an idiot.
He looks so dumb. It's very much like I have got an anime on my side vibes.
Yes.
Like he's like, look what I learned
I
to
have
do.
the power
a basic
of God
trait.
and anime on my side.
Flips hoe. You're not the only one who can flip a hoe behind his back.
It's just like anybody who has ever It's just like anybody who has ever found a large stick or staff and you start twirling it around.
I was there.
You think you look cool. I've done it. I still do it. I'm 25 and I'm still doing it.
Listen, I was a lonely kid as a child.
We've discussed this.
Yes, it's so sad all the time. Very tragic. But like, here's the thing. My favorite thing in the world was to go out into the backyard. And you know, when they like measure for gas lines and stuff, there was always like construction going on around my house. Mm-hmm. And my parents owned a photo studio, so I was like I had all this land to myself. So like these big gas stakes in the ground, they looked like swords.
I remember that. Yes, absolutely.
They were sick. So I would like pretend that was my sword.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like I when this scene was happening, I was imagining just like a passerby driving down the street because they're just in front of the house right now.
There's a lot of cars that drive by.
And imagine someone just driving by like, what the fuck are these kids doing? As
anyway,
they're fighting each other.
I felt pretty badass when I did this as a kid, and I'm sure that's how they felt too.
I'm sure they did too.
Until watching the footage. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't record myself doing
You
this.
can't see how much of a fool you look like. Because, at the end, it's a really lame fight that goes on for probably no joke, like 8 minutes of them just lamely fighting each other with these sticks. And then Kevin gets bested by Nick. He loses. And his girlfriend's like, oh, you embarrassed me. I'm so ashamed of you. You should really learn to be more like Army guy Nick. Meanwhile, Nick and Daphne go into Nick's van that he has.
Boing, boing.
That's
boing,
exactly,
boing,
no
boing,
joke, the exact
boing,
sound it
boing,
makes
boing.
because the two of them start rocking the van back and forth because I guess they're having sex.
They're definitely
immediately.
fucking. Even though when they come out, they're both fully clothed still.
It's been 2 months. It's not that long, guys. But yes,
that's
they
a
have some
lot of buildup.
Scooby-Doo ass sound effects where they're rocking the car back and forth for sex. Just boing,
I do imagine
boing,
that if
boing.
there was a sex scene in Scooby-Doo,
it would sound like that.
Like that, yeah.
So now Kevin goes back to work with McCready and complains about how hard his life is with his shitty friends. My girlfriend just doesn't respect me, you know? And as this is happening, McCready sees they've got this little shitty security camera. He sees a burglar who's he's just like dressed like a greaser, really. And he sees it on the security cam. So he goes to apprehend the dude. Then McCready gets held at knife point. So what does Kevin do? Comes up to save him with his little teeny gun.
What? Okay, this burglar scene.
Yeah.
Why the fuck is he doing?
What is
He's
the
literally
point?
just walking past a wall slowly.
Yes. It's just like a brick wall and he's just like sneaking past it.
It was very much like Emperor's New Groove, where he's like sneaking along the wall, like doing his own theme.
Yeah, exactly. This guy was probably
very
doing
much
his own theme
that
song.
I mean, when I infiltrate places, that's what I
always. Life needs more like theme songs and backup music. You know,
life needs more infiltration.
But so it's really funny because I think this scene was just to show that like maybe Kevin can handle himself or something. But so the burglar's holding McCready by knife point right now, and Kevin points the gun at him. Then he just points his pistol to the sky and
he points his pistol at the sky.
Wait. Sorry, that's another Hamilton reference for you theater nerds out there.
That's sexy.
Wait, it's sexy.
He points his wiener at the sky. Wait.
Wait, I'm into edging.
I don't want to come.
This one's bad. Can we even? It's dawning on me now, just now, like 50 minutes deep. Can we even release this one?
Oh my God. That's the name of the episode. We shouldn't release this episode.
The episode we should never have released. So Kevin points his gun at the sky, fires it, and somehow that's enough to scare the intruder away. Sometimes, for some reason, like, oh God, this guy's serious. I'm going to get shot. I brought a knife to a gunfight. And he just scurries away.
Yeah, he just runs like a little goob.
It's like, okay, cool. And so, but they decide, they're like, no, he's still around. So they go to look around for the intruder after he fled. Then Kevin goes searching in that forbidden area. McCready begs for him not to go near the vault. He's like on a walkie-talkie. He's like, don't go into the vault. No, whatever you do, don't. And for some reason, Kevin's like, hey, I'm going away into the forbidden area. Bye. Puts his walkie-talkie down on the ground and walks away from it. Like,
I guarantee.
Why would you do that in any scenario?
The whole reason this happened is because there was a shot right after of like the hallway with the walkie-talkie sitting there right in the middle. It was a pretty cool looking shot. But like, I guarantee that the director was like,
just for that.
Oh my God, what if we had the walkie-talkie talking on the ground alone in this dark hallway?
Listen to me, man. It's your script.
How do we get him to put it down?
Your script supervisor.
No, shut. Why are you here? I didn't hire you.
But he needs. Does that mean
I don't need a script supervisor on this. Have you seen my airtight script? It's airtight like Fantasia's butt.
There's more holes in this thing than Swiss cheese. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, there's plenty of holes in Swiss cheese. You can ask me about that later. This hallway.
All they did was use it for that one shot. It was basically all it was. So Kevin opens the vault like a dumbass. He goes right inside of there. McCready does make it in time to pull him out before he gets hurt. You can hear little like gurgles and chitterings of little hobgoblins, right? As he pulls him away, a hobgoblin makes its way out of the enclosure, running right past them. But we don't see it.
Yeah.
They just look at the ground under where the camera has a shot of it, and you just hear the sound of something scurrying away.
This, I know it feels like a long time, and you're probably thinking, oh, they're just at the beginning of the movie.
Been 30
It has been over 30 minutes.
30 minutes in the movie, we finally have hobgoblins in the movie. And then instantly they're right there. There's a group of like 7 of them that stole their little golf cart that they used to ride around this little studio, riding in style. They're just having a great time.
They're cute
I thought they were adorable.
I loved them.
And then they're just gone. Because there's several shots of them riding this like freewheeling this little go-kart all around the studio.
Yeah.
And then McCready and Kevin finally make it back to the golf cart, and it's just empty. There's no goblins here. It's like, oh. Yeah. Okay, well, that's cool. I guess they just managed to get away. It really didn't feel like they knew how to use these puppets and use them well at all.
No, they definitely didn't. It was such like a, I don't know. It was so thrown away.
They were not used well enough.
I understand there was one person puppeteering them, and she did a decent job
as
when
best
it was
as she
just
could.
them.
Yeah.
But the puppets were cute and nothing else.
Yes.
They had no mobility.
No,
she did not have a lot to work with.
Absolutely not. So now McCready spills the beans about how apparently decades ago the hobgoblins crash landed on this very same parking lot for the studio, just in a little spaceship. They're kind of cute, just like poking their little heads out of spaceships.
I loved it.
There's like a flashback sequence as he's talking about it. But so he's basically been trying to keep the hobgoblins in this enclosure and keep them from escaping for the past like 30 years. So yeah, it just happened one night on his night watch. A spaceship landed in the middle of the parking lot with the hobgoblins there, and he just thought they were cute. He's like, I can't get rid of these guys, so we let them stick around. They were his little secret, but then they slowly started to destroy and kill everyone on the lot. That's why nobody works there anymore.
Yep.
And this is what is interesting about them. They have something that does make them a little different from gremlins. They have the power to tap into the minds of people and bring their wildest fantasies to life. So that's what they use to kill people.
They, though?
Which then made me curious, because that means the guy at the very beginning, Dennis, who was dancing to himself in the studio, in the club, that's his biggest fantasy, is to dance alone in this club with nobody there.
You know, that actually checks out, man, because sometimes it's best to live your reality as your fantasy.
I suppose that's really,
He has spent his whole life dancing in front of a mirror, and he finally had an open crowd. No one was there. He wanted to sell out nothing, and he wanted to sell nothing. And he chased his dreams.
He chased his dreams.
It inevitably led to him falling off of a ledge and dying. But he lived his dreams.
So basically, the only other information that McCready can give us now in our kind of exposition dump here is that bright lights attract them, and killing the creature will stop the fantasy and save the victim. And so that's all we need to know. Kevin rushes back home now because he's like, I gotta go save my friends. Kevin's friends are just throwing their own lame party in their house with just like a single flashing light and some music. That's like... Yeah. That's the whole dance party. Then Daphne hears Nick's foghorn of his shitty van and leaves the party. And it was just it was kind of cute. It was a hobgoblin with like a little clown horn in his hand.
I loved him.
So Nick wasn't even actually there. It was just this little goblin honking his horn. But
Whoa.
So Daphne's out there. She's like, where's my boyfriend? Amy goes to check on her, but then it gets like shrugged off immediately. So she goes back inside. Hobgoblins attack. And these puppets They're not very
did
scary
they
at all.
attack, or did they just get held to all these people's chests and then flailed around?
Derek's expectation was perfect. This Daphne just wrestles with it, like just rolling around on the ground, holding this hobgoblin to her body, and then she just crushes it to death with a shovel.
Yeah.
She just grabs it, gong, gong, gong. And it was at this point that I was like, I thought they had cool powers to like bring your fantasies to life. When it seems like they're kind of choosy about when that actually happens.
Literally, they could have done it here and won. Like this power is pretty strong.
Yeah.
They should have used it.
Absolutely. It is. Maybe it makes them OP, and that's why they didn't use it all the time.
Nerfed.
But then two more show up and make it into the party and start attacking the three friends. So now all of them, so it's Kyle, it's Amy, and Daphne, all getting attacked by these things. And it's kind of funny. Nick shows up. He's like, wow, what's going on in there? Looks like an orgy because I'm a horny army guy. Let's get in on this. And they're all just like flailing, trying to not die from these hobgoblins that are attacking them. But so he shows up to save the three of them. And how does he intend to save them once he finds out it's a danger?
Grenades.
He grabs a grenade and almost just throws it into the house. Like, that is not the solution. We can't just blow up our house.
Nah, man.
And also, I think it's Kevin's house at the end of the day.
It is, yeah.
It's
well,
just,
I think.
I don't
know.
I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense. So before he can throw the grenade into the house, Kevin shows up and tries to give everyone all the information he has, right? Like, are you guys acting weird? Do you feel weird? Is everything okay? You know, like these hobgoblins, they've got these powers and they only like, I mean, I guess they do believe him because they've been attacked at this point.
Yeah.
But you know what really gets me in the mood? What really gets me going is like getting attacked by hobgoblins. I think I got to go into the other room right
can
next
I
to
use
you
your phone real
and
quick?
I should call Fantasia again.
Hi, it's me, Fantasia. Thanks for calling.
Oh.
I need a new house pet to impress my friends. Now hurry before the zookeeper comes. Help me hide this iguana on my body.
That line makes no sense.
On my body.
On my body. That's exactly
What does
she
that
says.
even mean?
I don't know.
Oh, yes, miss. Can I help? Oh, wait, no, she was doing two voices here.
Because
So,
she
help
called
me hide
someone
this
else.
iguana on my body.
Yeah.
Can I help you, miss?
That's right. She did.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Beast.
Gotta hand it to Fantasia. She was doing a couple different voices.
She was
pretty
juggling.
fun.
She was juggling. Oh, yes, Mr.
A
Beastmaster.
performer.
Something just crawled up my leg. Oh, I see if you can find it. I think you better come back to my office with me. I'm giving more depth to this line than she is.
Really, though.
Now, wait a minute. Are you sure your office is in the baboon pit?
What?
Mr. Mr. Zookeeper, what do you think you're going? This isn't the children's petting zoo.
Oh,
I have a new house pet for you. Oh, I have a new house pet for you, miss. Ha 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 ha.
Oh, my God.
Oh, Mr. Zookeeper, I could never take a cockatoo that size.
Jesus
Now stop wasting your
Christ.
money calling me. I'm right outside your door.
Yeah, a hobgoblin enters the room as he's on this phone call, is listening into his call, and then starts to mess with his reality. So now they're doing that whole like messing, like bringing your fantasies to life, right? So Fantasia tells him to come right outside, and who's there? Fantasia herself, Fantasia. So they're gonna go all the way. It's the worst. The delivery on this part is so terrible. They're in front of the house. There's these weird, like, there's this hazy effect. There's like this blue and red light on them. They're not even looking at each other. They're standing next to each other, staring out of the house.
Do you kiss on the first date?
I go all the way on the first date.
You gotta act more annoyed though. She looked so annoyed. She's like, "You
kind of
really
annoyed.
asked me that?"
Yeah, exactly. Offended even by that line. Their deliveries on all of these lines are just atrocious.
Do we have some time to get Pop Rocks and whipped cream?
Just start the car. This man has never had sex in his life, and you can
Because
tell.
Pop Rocks and whipped cream are the sexiest things
They're
you
the
can
sexiest
use.
foods.
Whipped cream, hot. Pop Rocks, hot. Together, probably not.
The hottest. You can't cross the streams, Derek. You can't allow the Pop Rocks to touch the whipped
I'm curious
cream.
about Pop Rocks. Like anybody out there ever fuck with Pop Rocks?
Anybody out there ever do it?
Call in.
Call in if you. No, not the sex hotline again. I'm pulling the plug. It's disconnected.
That's my cake.
So they're gonna go all the way driving out to this place called Reputation Road, which is basically this town's equivalent of like Makeout Point. You know, like this the spot on top of the hill. People drive there and make out in their car. It's basically the gist of what I can get here. I don't understand how this happened, but somehow Kevin knows that Kyle has disappeared to go to Reputation Road.
Yeah,
I missed. Like, did you catch that?
Nope.
Some-
And even looking through the script.
No. Somehow he just
Nope,
knows.
he never
oh, no.
says that.
Oh no, Kyle's out at Reputation Road. I gotta go save him. So he
never says that.
He leaves his friends. He's like, "You guys cool? I'm going out to save a buddy." Like it just doesn't make sense why they didn't go together.
No, literally in the script, it goes from describing how to get there, and then it jumps to the other people, and Kyle is and the army dude is like, I gotta go down and get Kyle. I want you guys stay here.
What the hell? Like it doesn't make sense that this would happen.
Even in the script, it's confused.
Kevin, I have no idea why Kevin is going this way. So Kyle and Fantasia arrive at Reputation Road. There's like a couple. It's so funny. He pulls up. There's a sign there's like a wooden sign painted in white letters that says "Kissing Only," and she tells him to keep driving. So he drives a bit further.
But 1 inch.
Now there's a sign that says "All the Way." Like literally, like a couple feet of a difference. It's so stupid.
One of my favorite things about this is it is obviously just the same house.
Yes.
Like it's the same driveway from a different angle.
They didn't drive very far for this at all.
No. But then he's supposed to be like on a cliffside.
Yeah, exactly.
But like it's like the same driveway.
It's ridiculous. So they're about to go all the way. Then she steps out of the car and she goes over to his side, puts the car in neutral. Then it's like, just hold on for me. Then goes to the back of the car and tries to push it off of the cliff, which for some reason she struggles with. Like she can't do it at first.
She can't do it.
And he gets out of the car. He's like, what's going on, babe? Do you need help? She's like, get in the car. She gets all angry with him.
It's so dumb.
So now she's successfully pushing the car off. Then Kevin to the rescue with his powerful rake. He grabs his rake from the fight earlier because I guess it's a great weapon.
It's super good.
It really did him well that first time that he fought
weapon,
with it, you know? And so now he's here to fight off the sexy woman. So with one strike to a nearby hobgoblin, he just boop, hits it off one of like the kissing only sign, and then Fantasia disappears easily. Like no problem.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm a little disappointed. So the McCready did specifically say killing the creature would make the fantasy disappear. So that's all it took. One swipe of the rake killed it.
One swell foop.
One swell foop, easily enough. And then Kyle and Kevin argue about whether or not Fantasia's real. Is like, no, my girlfriend's real. She was just here. You have to understand. As they're sitting here and arguing about this thing, the car just, for some reason, nobody is pushing it, continues to roll, and then actually successfully does tumble down the hill
and
explodes on the way down.
Explosion, yeah.
It was a pretty good explosion, but it wasn't like very exciting. It just like happened.
It was an explosion.
It was a real explosion. They really did blow up a car, and that was all. It's kind of funny. You can definitely tell they must have had like some like beat up demolition derby something car, because even before, like when it was at the top of the hill tumbling down, it was already like beat up and dented and bruised and stuff. But part of what went into their budget, I guess.
Yep.
But so the car blew up. That's nice, I guess.
That's that.
Back at home, the hobgoblins attack Kevin and Kyle in the van. They're like, "Where is everybody? We're in the van. Oh no, there's more hobgoblins!" And that attack goes nowhere, really.
Nope.
It's really inconsistent when the hobgoblins decide to use their powers or not. Most of the time, they're just jumping on people and trying to bite them.
No, yeah, it's dumb.
It's
but then
super
they go to
inconsistent.
Clubs Come.
Yeah. So Daphne and Nick tell them that Amy went out to Club Scum because while all of this stuff was happening with Fantasia, Amy finds like the newspaper clippings that Kyle was using to call the number. There's a place called Club Scum.
Club Scum.
Club Scum. I think that's definitely got to be the idea behind it.
Club
right?
Scum.
Club Scum. So then they're like, "Oh yeah, no, she just went out to Club Scum." Like what? Did she announce that as she was leaving? "Okay, guys, I'm heading out. I'm going to Club Scum. Bye."
She must have. But also, like, I love the idea that everyone in this movie is just so horny.
All the time.
All the time.
Always and forever. That's probably why he went on to make more softcore porn, basically.
Club Scum.
Club Scum
Okay,
is a dump. It's a pretty bad place.
It was a high school cafeteria.
It looked pretty rough. It was. I think I remember reading some tribute. It was an actual club called like the Music Lounge in LA
was a
or
real
something. It
club?
was a real ass place for reals.
I genuinely thought it was like an auditorium at a high school or something.
So at first, the bouncer, whose name is like Road Rash or something like that, he won't let them into the club because they look too preppy, right? He's like, "You guys don't belong here," right? And they're like, "No, you have to understand. We're looking for a girl." He tries to like get one of the girls, like, "You looking for a girl like this?" Like, "No, you don't understand." But he's like, "I don't want you guys in here." Then he sees Daphne, and he's like, "Oh, Daphne, you're here. I didn't know these guys are with you."
Oh,
yeah, all right, you guys can go in, but you're on thin ice, you know? Like, I guess they're got the hots for Daphne, I guess.
Yeah.
Kevin is convinced Amy would never hang out in a club like this, right? And so they just sit at a table and some random ass band does a whole performance of a song called Kiss Kicker 99.
Kiss Kicker.
That I actually didn't hate. It wasn't terrible. It kind of reminded me of like Devo or something like that.
Yeah, it was
like,
pretty good.
The vibe was right.
By the Fontanelles was the band. And I'm pretty sure it was just a local band who was like, I'll be in your movie.
Yeah, sure, why not? But the thing is, they did, and they must have been part of like their contract or something. We have to have the whole song in the show, in the movie, because the entire song was played. And it's not like any plot happened while this was happening. They just let an entire number of this band go.
And listen, there's a lot of movies that do something like this. You know, like, well, for example, I saw the TV Glow did this twice, but the way that it's done can be done deliberately, where what they're singing about has like an effect
and a point,
or its purpose
drives the story.
It is some sort of allegory to what is also happening in the movie. This was just a song.
Yes, it just happened.
This was just a song.
And then it was over. And then they continued to talk with some dialogue. And now Miss Amy Sincere takes the stage. So Kevin's girlfriend totally works at this club, I guess, and he ain't happy about it. So you know, we just finished an entire performance. Now we get another one. Just this whole like sultry performance as she's kind of awkwardly dancing on the stage. I don't know why this movie stopped dead in its tracks for 2 whole music and dance numbers that go nowhere.
Yeah.
It was really at this point that the movie kind of came to a screeching halt, and like
it really
became pretty hard to bear. This entire scene in Club Scum was really just like kind of hard to watch.
Really though, up until this point, it was like, oh haha, this is funny.
We were having a good time kind of making fun of it, right? But now it's kind of dragging.
It just ruined itself.
And it's kind of hard to dictate. Things were so chaotic in this moment that like it's kind of hard to say what's happening when, because so much shit starts happening. And so it's horrible. She finishes her number and starts to just flirting it up. Amy starts flirting with the bouncer, Road Rash.
Yeah.
And then they just sneak away for some privacy. And nobody is doing anything to stop Amy from doing this. All of her other friends are like, I don't know, have fun, Amy. Her boyfriend's like, but you can't. No way. So as Kevin is trying to go stop his girlfriend, Nick's general from the army just walks in here, and also some hobgoblins. I cannot tell what is real and what is fantasy in this moment. Like they have not given us a good enough distinction between like the fantasy of what the hobgoblins create, right?
Which I don't normally need in movies, but this movie was so confusing that something like anything, even a color shift would have helped.
Yeah, so Nick's general, he basically just like outfits him with a bunch of useless ammo and grenades and a bandana like he's fucking Rambo or something.
I loved this because he gave him like 80 grenades.
So many grenades.
Because I feel like grenades are like the one prop they had other than that Uzi that he used. He used. You do me. You do me.
You doozy.
You do me. I killed the goblin with the Udi.
But except he doesn't. All he uses is grenades. So yeah, now the hobgoblins show up again. It's been a long time of them just regularly in this club without any sightings of a hobgoblin. But they show up. They're just tearing up the place, and none of the patrons seem to mind. Like they literally go up to a table of people, and they're like, "Oh, that's weird." They don't freak out at all. It takes them so long to actually start panicking about anything. This is where I use, this is a wild disaster piece. Nothing is going right, and now Nick is just throwing grenades all over the place, not even attacking anything. There are just millions of bursts of fire going all around the bar, and everyone finally starts fleeing the scene. This is the action that they wanted. This is why Nick was here in the first place.
This movie, man.
It's so stupid. So they manage to catch one hobgoblin and like limply choke it out, and then suddenly Amy is broken from her fantasy before she ends up sleeping with a bouncer, Road Rash.
Yep.
So apparently that was a part of her fantasy, like letting go of her sexual inhibitions and becoming a stripper, I guess, was her fantasy.
I guess.
I suppose.
Maybe.
I don't really know if I'm following the logic of what's happening in this movie.
I'm not.
But then the general starts creeping up on Daphne. He's like, hey, why don't you come work for the USO and dance for my boys, you know? And then he throws a fucking grenade at Nick. He's like, my boys will do anything for me. Watch, catch this, Nick. Throws him a grenade. And then Nick jumps on top of it and then is caught on fire, flailing around the room, completely encased in flames.
Because everyone knows when you hold a grenade and explode, you light on fire and run around.
You don't explode to bits. You just get lit on fire.
Yep.
But there was, for real, a person running around on fire. I got it. Like that effect was
cool.
Was real, a real practical effect for sure. And then in retaliation, Daphne puts a grenade in the general's shirt, which it's so funny because it explodes like 4 feet in front of him.
And then he just like dives away.
Yeah. So I guess she got him. I guess he really exploded.
You would think if they had this many grenades, they would have learned how a grenade works.
Right, at some point. But what was kind of funny about this moment is after he dies, you find out that the general was actually just 2 hobgoblins in a trench coat.
I love that.
That was kind of a funny moment. So that whole chaotic scene happens, and the 4 living friends go out of the bar and into their van, which there's like 4 hobgoblins chilling in the back of it, but they don't actually do anything. They're just there.
It was very much Night at the Roxbury, like them just driving down the street, like jamming out with these goblins in the backseat of their car.
Completely unaware that there's hobgoblins still in the car with them, right?
I like the idea that they knew they were there.
And they're all just partying together. Yeah.
They were having a good time.
These hobgoblins are party animals.
We're like party
sure.
goblins, you know what I'm saying?
So back at the studio, McCready is trying to tell his boss, pleading with him. He's like, no, it's the hobgoblins again. Because apparently 30 years earlier, when he tried to tell his boss about it, the boss is like, you're crazy, you're stupid, shut up. So he's like, please, no, they're real. I'm trying to tell you. So he gets told off by his boss and then finally just fired. He's like, you know what, fuck you. We don't need your craziness here anymore. He's like, oh, fine, that saves me the trouble of trying to quit, whatever. Somehow the friends all make their way to the studio without any issue. There were hobgoblins in the car, but I guess they were just hitching a ride. Remember that intruder from earlier, that greaser-looking dude with a knife? Well, now he's back to challenge Kevin to a nunchuck fight.
Because why not?
Because why not? Because this movie needed
He literally
something
just
like
hands
that.
him some nunchucks.
Which is so fair of him. He's like, no, this needs to be a fair fight. We both need to have nunchucks right now.
I don't understand.
And so now it's Kevin's time to prove himself. His girlfriend Amy's here. It's like, all right, let's really do it. This fight is only slightly more interesting than the rake and the garden hoe fight, but Kevin is holding himself up. And same deal, anytime they land an attack on each other, it's like every time. And so the intruder holds up a gun, ready to fire at Kevin, and then McCready saves him by shooting a nearby hobgoblin that none of them saw, ending the fantasy. So there never actually was an intruder. It was just like the fantasy of the hobgoblin, which I guess makes sense because Kevin wanted to prove himself. So that one actually does track within their logic, right? But anyway, he's saved. There's no intruder, whatever. Now, Kevin and McCready go into the studio. For some reason, all of the hobgoblins have just decided they're tired and they want to go back home.
I think their dinner bell rang.
Yeah, maybe. So all of them rush into the vault and it's like, oh, okay, cool. They're all here. For some reason, Kevin is like, okay, well, don't you worry. You've been fired. I'll stick to my job. I'll guard them for the next 30 years. I'm ready to take my duty on my shift here. Like, why the fuck would you agree to do something like that? It doesn't make any sense. But then McCready is like, no, I have a better idea. And he's like, remember when I told you I was in the army? You never asked what I was in charge of. It's like, what were you in charge of? Like, munitions is basically what he says he was in charge of. And then he pushes a button and then the entire, like a whole quarter of the building just explodes in a crazy fashion.
Yeah, man.
So his idea is like, no, we're not going to watch them. I'm just going to fucking blow these dudes up.
Yep.
It's like, why? You've been guarding them for 30 years. Why have you not just done that this entire time?
Because he was still working there. He needed his job.
Oh, my Lord. I guess that's fair.
There's lore.
You can't blow it up if you're still working there. So what really pisses me off here is they're just like looking at this explosion, which feels really lazy, by the way. It feels like such a rushed way to end this movie. Yeah. Then Nick, remember Nick who just blew up on a grenade and was flailing around on fire? He just walks up with some crutches. He is completely fine, 100% fine. He's got a little bit of blood like on his side, like on his arm. That is it.
That's it.
And he's like, hey babe, it's me, I'm okay, no issues whatsoever. Him and Daphne go back into the van and start having sex again, like no problem whatsoever.
Boing, boing.
And now this movie ends as like Kyle gets nothing, Daphne and Nick start having sex. Amy comes up to Kevin, she's like, hey, I think I'm ready. He's like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
And then in one final stab at his boss, McCready calls him, which this does not make any sense. Every time he's talked to his boss, they've been in the same building here.
Yes. And he's still in that building that apparently just exploded.
He should have been, but he calls his boss basically to taunt him about an explosion. He's like, well, what did you want me to do? Nobody was on duty. You fired the last security guard. And then the movie ends. That's all. That's all, folks. Wow.
What a movie. What a movie. What a movie.
God, I gotta take a breather after that one. That was something. I don't even know how many deaths there were in this thing. There were lots of different explosions going on.
I tried to count, man, and I tried to look it up.
One thing that we never really got around to, there was only one actor that I saw that actually has done anything else in this movie.
Darren
It
Norris.
is Darren Norris, who is mostly a voice actor. He's done some like mostly TV shows and stuff like this. The biggest thing I know him from was he was the voice of Timmy Turner's father in The Fairly Odd Parents. And it's kind of fun, actually. He did the voice for him, and when they did the live action movie version of the movie of Fairly Odd Parents, he also played the live action version of the dad.
There
too.
was a live action Fairly Odd Parents?
Yeah, it had Drake Bell playing like a more older version of Timmy Turner. It was super weird.
Terrible.
But Darren Norris did a funny job. He's got a very like, it's me. I'm the dad. I can't do an impression of it, but he does mostly voice acting. He basically like it seemed like he wanted to audition for something like Cabaret or like Rocky Horror Picture Show because he was the MC at Club Scum. And it just like he didn't really do anything other than introduce certain characters. There wasn't a lot to mention about him.
There's a bunch of live action Fairly Odd.
Yeah, there's actually a couple of them.
What the frick?
There's a lot going on there.
I'm confused. Okay, well, yeah, that was Hobgoblins. I wrote for I said kills 1, like maybe 40. Fuck, who knows?
Who knows? There was just a million explosions going on all over.
And
the
I don't
place.
actually know if anybody died.
Yeah, we never actually saw death. The only
except
death,
for the one at the beginning.
The only death that we really saw was the one at the beginning, and then technically the general, but that was just goblins in a trench coat. So.
What's your result?
God, geez, I need to expectation results. I said campy, rip-off, fun, and it started out pretty outlandish and stupid in a fun way, but then it became that much in a very not fun way. This movie kind of lost itself halfway through and never picked itself back up. It's really, honestly, truthfully.
Greatest Gremlins clone ever, TM? Yeah, I mean, they were cute, but they were just puppets.
Yeah, they didn't.
I don't know if it really won best clone ever, though.
Anytime they were running through anything, it was just them like scampering around like a little hand puppet. Like they did nothing to try to make them look like actual living creatures. Yeah. It was pretty rough. I said actors that will go nowhere, and you ever heard of any of these actors? You know, you ever heard of Tom Bartlett, of Kelly Palmer, Stephen
Paige
Boggs,
Sullivan,
Billy Frank? No, I didn't think so.
Dwayne Whittaker?
No, all of them are nobodies who really went nowhere. I think one of them, Amy, was in like Criminal Minds at some point. That's like the only other thing that she's done. No, who was it? Somebody else was in something like that. I don't care enough to find out. Maybe it was excited. Fantasia. Fantasia was in Criminal Minds.
I think it's a porn star.
No way. Criminal Minds. Oh,
hey.
And Days of Our Lives, The Young and the Restless. Okay, so she did a lot of stuff like this. So
Fantasia did.
Fantasia's the big star.
So you're telling me out of this movie, 2 of the smallest characters are the ones who went off and actually had successful acting careers.
That's exactly what I'm saying. So yeah, really, no, none of them really went anywhere except for a few of them. Though it was weird to see that voice actor Darren Norris here, and he was actually a pretty enjoyable character.
One of the best parts of the movie.
Apparently, his part, as small as it was even smaller. And Rick Sloan liked his audition call for it so much that he was like, "Let's give you a little bit more," just because he did like a funny voice with it.
That's funny.
Yeah. What was your next one?
80s sexualization to the max. Surprisingly not as bad as I expected. Our episode has been more sexual than the movie was. But it was still pretty bad, degrading, exploitation.
Yeah, exactly. I said kick-ass 80s soundtrack, and this soundtrack did go pretty hard. I even enjoyed that one song from that random band in Club Scum. I liked Kiss Kicker 99 or whatever. I thought that was pretty fun.
Dialogue that would make Shakespeare give up the quill. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It was mostly just campy.
Yeah.
Like, the dialogue didn't really ruin anything for me. The movie ruined itself.
Absolutely. I said silly, unserious puppets, and they made very few efforts to make these puppets look like real beings. They moved about, obviously being hand puppeteered, and whenever someone was fighting with them, they would just flail around with a limp hobgoblin plushie on their chest, So really, very unserious.
True. My favorite off-screen, kill screen, roll around. Oh my god, yeah. All the time.
All of the above.
There were no kills with the goblins, but every time they were doing anything, they were just rolling around.
And they were just too easy to kill. That's what made me kind of sad, is like one hit with a shovel or a rake or anything was enough to be like, okay, they're dead now. Easy peasy. Really job done. Not enough puppets was my last one. And ask Derek. There were several times I was begging the TV, bring back the hobgoblins.
Bring them back.
For a movie titled after these creatures, there really wasn't enough of them in this movie.
Yeah, for sure. And then my final one was more like trolls, am I right? And kind of. I think Trolls is a more entertaining bad movie.
Absolutely.
So
because it's consistent. It knows where it's going.
Or Troll 2.
I really feel like this movie had no idea where to go about halfway through the movie because it was following a fairly consistent pace, but it had no idea how to end or stick that landing even slightly.
Yeah.
Our surprises for this one?
Yeah, dude.
I said my surprises were I liked that the Hobgoblins had something unique about them, and that was their ability to manipulate your mind and make your fantasies come true. Though it was very inconsistent when they decided to do this and how it actually worked. It mostly just led to us being really confused about, like, is this person actually here? Is this real life? Does she want to be a stripper? Is that her deepest fantasy?
Man?
No idea. And those were never really answered for us.
Nope.
As a monster, I did like the designs of the Hobgoblins. I didn't feel completely derivative of the Gremlins, but there was definitely some inspiration there as far as their designs went. I was surprised by how on board I was for the first bit of the movie, only to ultimately be disappointed by the end. As stupid as it was, I started out having a good time. Like, that's definitely the kind of, like, making fun of it, having a good time with some friends, but then it just never, it got to a point where even that wasn't enough for it.
I agree.
And then my last expectation, or my last surprise, was just those fight scenes with the rakes, hose, and nunchucks were really fun. Rakes, hose, and nunchucks, oh my.
Pretty good. For me, the cuteness of the little guys it made it hard to have any sort of fear for them because they're just cute little guys.
Kind of adorable.
Like, the Gremlins are cute, but they turn not cute. So, like, it was whatever. The fight scenes, man.
Oh, Lord.
I can't believe that they thought that was a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, there was nothing entertaining about that, except it was hilarious. Then how it just came to a screeching halt.
Totally.
Like, halfway through. It surprised me because it's impressive.
Yeah.
How it could just screech a halt like that. That's basic. That's
all we got.
That's all I got. That's
time for our verdicts, I guess.
Yeah, man.
Drum roll, please. And that was horrible for me personally. This movie does not offer, or it does offer, the perfect environment for your Mystery Science Theater 3000 antics, but it reaches a point where it all comes to a screeching halt and becomes a slog to get through, even if you're laughing at it. And I can't even laugh with it. I'm just laughing at it. It was a campy, silly mess. I just wish it hadn't lost itself so entirely and became less enjoyable with its lack of the actual monsters and weird entire dance sequences that lasted far too long.
Far too long.
It had a lot of things that worked for a minute, but they just never really paid off. So maybe this movie can stay locked in a vault in some abandoned film studio.
Nice. Yeah, for me, that was horrible as well. That was horrible.
Horrible, yeah.
Horrible. It's hard for me to say horror and not... it's hard to recommend watching a movie that is barely even a movie.
Really?
Calling this anything but a disaster is just unfair. The puppets were adorable but unbelievable. The characters had no substance. The writing was delirious. The best thing I can say about Hobgoblins is that it was hilarious to make fun of and had cool explosions. So grab your nearest puppet and hob on down to the Goblin Lair with some friends. But if you were alone, maybe just watch the Mystery Science Theater version.
Ring, 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 ring.
Hey,
ring, 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 ring. Is that the...
click?
I thought we unplugged the phone.
I did too.
Hey there, big boy. It is me, Count Sexy. I'm here to... Do you want your trivia? Oh, look at these fancy cards. Oh, the edges are so sharp. I hope I don't cut my finger. Oh, a prick on my little finger. And what is that? Oh, it is the blood. Oh, you want to suck on the blood?
I do, actually.
Bad,
you bit me about a week ago, and you've been saying you were going to give me some of your blood to turn me into a vampire, and you have not.
And we're getting you're messing with the fucking bit. I'm trying something here, okay?
Yeah, but I think this is a really good time to talk about how you promised me you would make me a vampire.
This is not how they work. I am the one on the phone. You listen and moan. That's all you do. What is the moan? That's more okay. So in the blood on the finger, and then you suck, we suck out the blood. Oh, what's that? Oh, now you are dying. You are bleeding out, and I laugh at you.
This is their actual.
And now here,
and you're kink shaming.
Here is my blood. Ooh, yes, it's
Fuck
warm.
You're not going to turn me into a vampire now.
Ooh, no, of course, I'm never going to turn you into a vampire.
Wait, what? You promised.
Oh, today? Are you recording?
You literally said, I have it on recording.
Are you recording this right now?
42.
No, delete that.
You said I'm gonna. You're gonna turn me into a vampire.
No, I didn't.
And I'm going to be able to read trivia.
Isaac,
too.
did you hear? I'm gonna stay out of this one. This is between the two. No,
I know you already
turned
turned this fuck. Look at horse over there. You see Horse Boy over there?
Oh yeah,
he's a vampire.
That's my cool vampire horse. Isn't that pretty?
It's Vorse.
We go for that's my Vorse.
He's really into Vor.
Not to be confused with my Vor horse. That is a different thing entirely.
Oh, okay.
What's happening? Did you guys want your trivia or anything like that? I kind of got over my sex hotline. I'm gonna leave that. I gotta rewrite the script and maybe call someone who will go with the bit, okay, and not ruin my thing. Take your trivia. I'm leaving.
I love you.
I love you too.
Oh,
Trivia for this week. There's a little bit. There was a lot of trivia actually that I didn't include solely because since there's a documentary about this one, there's a lot of things we could talk about for this. So I'll get you the ones that seemed the most interesting. The Hobgoblin puppets. This is weird. There was no source for this. I'll just trust what it says here, and all it says is the Hobgoblin puppets were operated by a woman who had just been released from a mental hospital. That is all it says. That is all of the information.
What does that even?
What does that imply?
Mean?
I know in movies they make it sound like everyone that comes from a mental institution is crazy, but like, why did you feel the need to? I don't know. We don't need to get into that. But so yeah, that was what they decided to say about the puppeteer. Director Rick Sloan didn't see the puppets for the Hobgoblins until the night before the first day of shooting.
That's insane.
So he just went a long time just like hoping that they turned out. Apparently, in an original version of the script, they were only intended for you to see their eyes, and that's all you were going to be able to see of the Hobgoblins. And again, that might have just been a budget thing, which I guess I'm glad that they actually had real puppets for this thing. This film was shot in a single week. 1 week on a budget of $15,000 without any permits. So they just they had to tumble a car down a hill, blow it up, and then fucking run away, I guess.
Oh my God.
There's no way you can do that without a permit. Like, how the hell did they get away with that? Hobgoblins has been riffed by Mystery Science Theater 3000, Elvira, and Riff Tracks. I guess Elvira also riffed on this movie too.
Elvira, what's she doing?
McCready's gun was actually a cap pistol purchased from a toy store for $5. So I guess they just painted it to look like a real weapon. Rick Sloan claims to have written the first draft of the script prior to Gremlins from 1984. So he claims this has nothing to do with Gremlins. I don't know those freaky little dudes. I don't know how this happened. It came out 4 years before my movie, but they are completely unrelated.
Oh my God.
And then finally, the Hobgoblin puppets were modeled after composer Alan der Marderosian. That's a crazy name. Alan der Marderosian's cats.
Alan
did dabba-dee dabba-die dabba-dee dabba.
dabba-doo.
They were modeled after the composer's cats, who were named Creamed Corn and Kathy. That's the inspiration for that. Because basically, I guess we never talked about how they look. They look Gremlins-esque, right? They got the big old ears. They look like a goblin like you would expect, but they're like covered in like gray fur. That's kind of what differentiates them from them. So yeah, they do look cat-esque. They also have these very prominent nipples on like their rib cage-ridden body. I don't know. They look really interesting. But that is us for Hobgoblins.
Yeah, man.
What are we watching next week, huh?
Yeah. So I've gone through. It was actually my choice.
Okay,
this
it's
week.
Derek's turn,
and I'm trying to like stick with more new ones because you like doing ones back in the day.
That's true. I'm 80s
back
and backwards.
So we've kind of set into that. I'm going to do another one from this year. I know we've already done a couple ones from this year.
Okay,
but let me tell you why. So this movie is called Camp Pleasant Lake. It was released February 27th of 2024.
This looks interesting.
The synopsis: strange events plague a couple when they open a camp on a haunted site that connects them to a 20-year-old mystery involving a missing girl and a brutal crime.
Of course. I would always open a camp on a haunted lot.
Let me tell you the reason that I want to do this movie.
I think I see why.
The Rotten Tomatoes critic scores are at 11%.
11.
The audience score is at 93.
93 versus 11.
That is an 80% difference.
That is insane to me. I gotta know why people are liking this movie.
So somebody loves this movie, and a lot of people hate this movie, and I gotta know why.
And we will figure it out. So yeah, next week, I guess, the 2 Tuesdays from now, join us for Camp Pleasant Lake from 2024. That's this year.
Yeah, man.
Wowzers. Okay. Well, before we send you off, let's leave you with a little something to grow on, a little something to think and process.
Garfield
it's Garfield time for Garfield time. Garfield horoscope.
We got to work out.
We'll work on a real
jingles,
jingle someday, I promise. Garfield horoscope time. So as Derek peruses this, I'll kind of tell you about this. Garfield walks into shot. It's John. He's drinking his coffee. Garfield walks in, looks looks confused, walks away, to which John kind of taunts him. He's like, forget why you came in here. And Garfield responds, shut up, in his head, because John can't actually understand what Garfield is saying here. Derek, do you have any idea who you want to be?
Yeah, I think I want to be Garfield.
Okay, cool. I want to be the coffee cup in this situation. I'm going to be the
because
coffee cup.
I almost said the coffee cup, and I knew you were going to say
I was ready to hop on if you didn't.
I knew you were going to do it.
You know me.
I chose to do Garfield because I knew you were going to do coffee cup.
So what's going on here?
So Garfield just is living his freaking life.
Honestly,
he's living his best life. And everyone knows how it is when you walk around a corner, your brain sees things and it will make you think of so many different things, you forget about what had happened before.
Hey, Derek, I don't know if everyone has ADHD like you do.
No, but it's a real thing.
You're right.
Where you like walk into a room and you see something else, you're like, oh shoot, where did my thought process go? Like if I look left right now, I'll forget everything we're talking about. But that's
just because you have bad object permanence. If you look to your left, I die.
Go?
I mean, Isaac! It's just like when you're playing The Sims and you give your little sim an action and then you cancel that action. That's what it feels like.
So, absolutely.
Yeah.
So this, and I think that happens to me, actually. I think I am a sim.
Are you a sim? You were a sim in God's Playground? In God's Build-A-Bear? Oh, he's dead. He forgot. Derek, your action is to finish a podcast.
Okay. Anyway, so Garfield, he walks into the room, he forgets what he was doing, and then he just leaves, and he's like, oh, shut up, man. You made me forget. This happens to you, too. This is a validation story.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
You are valid.
What's Coffee Cup doing?
Coffee Cup is doing well. Okay, so I'm going to say Coffee Cup is a friend of John and Garfield in here, and they're kind of John is they're just buddies here.
Okay.
History will say they were roommates. And so the Coffee Cup is friends with the two of them. He sees his two friends kind of taunting, kind of bickering at each other. Coffee Cup says nothing. He's going to stay. He's going to stay out of this, So just like if you find yourself in a situation where you got two buddies who are like, kind of egging each other on, don't add to the whole thing. Don't make situations worse. Be the Coffee Cup. Be the passive Coffee Cup. Just kind of like let things go, let things happen. They're fine, Because if Coffee Cup had chimed in here, it might have turned into a big ugly thing. It might have become something really nasty.
Hey, can I be John?
Yeah, you could be John, Science Jim.
Hey, so I often am John, where I'm just sitting there living my life holding my coffee cup.
Okay.
And then Matt Jane will walk in and she'll be like, hey, I would like to have some of your coffee. And I say no. And then she leaves and so I taunt her.
Oh, okay. So
did I do it right?
Yeah, so you're mostly just talking about how you relate. How can our listeners, like, what should they do in their lives,
Maybe just taunt everybody.
Taunt everybody.
Be an asshole.
So you're valid for forgetting things sometimes. You should stay out of conflict and also taunt people. These are our messages from That Was Horrible this week.
What a week. What a week. It's good to be back, ladies and gentlemen.
It's great to be here. Thank you all so much for joining us. If you feel so inclined, go and join us on our social medias, please.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Tell all your buddies here. Tell them to follow us on our socials.
And make sure you include that we're not normally this sexual.
We are
Unless that's their thing, then lie.
And if that's the case, tell them this is how it is every week. But on our social medias, follow us on Instagram at that_was_horrible, Twitter at TWH Podcast, Facebook at That Was Horrible Podcast, YouTube at That Was Horrible, and TikTok at That Was Horrible. Thank you, as always. Join us next week for Camp Pleasant Lake. It'll be
pleasant.
It will be pleasant. We will make it pleasant. We will do less sex, I think.
Probably.
Right? Hopefully.
Probably.
I think that's something we can't. Can I promise that? Derek, look at me. Can I promise them there will be less sexual?
Isaac, where'd you go?
God, it's his object permanent. I gotta go pull him in.
I'm gonna go call a sex line.
In the meantime, as always, Garfield, be with you. And stay spooky.
Goodbye.